Friends, at the beginning of the story, we are shown a very dark forest. A child is running, terrified, as if he's fleeing from someone or desperately trying to escape something. The scene holds there for a moment, and it feels as if an invisible danger inside that dense forest is relentlessly chasing him while he runs with every ounce of strength, fighting to stay alive. Then the view shifts. A red bus is seen moving along the road, passing through the forest as it heads toward its destination. After going a little further, the road suddenly gets blocked by a fallen tree. With no other choice, the bus takes a different route, unaware that danger might be waiting there. Along the way, we even see a few scattered skeletons. As the bus moves deeper, the trees slowly begin to disappear, until suddenly, a strange fog starts forming ahead of the bus, thick and unnatural, gradually surrounding it. In the middle of that eerie fog, the atmosphere turns terrifying, as if the bus has crossed into the boundary of some unknown world. The children sitting inside the bus start looking outside nervously. Without warning, the driver suddenly has to stop the bus. He steps down to check and sees a dead deer lying in front of the road. He moves it aside to clear the way. But as the driver turns back, he has no idea that the real danger is just about to begin and that this journey is about to take a horrifying turn. For a moment, he just freezes. But when he climbs back into the bus, he realizes something is terribly wrong. Behind him, another man has quietly stepped inside, holding the bus driver at gunpoint. With a cold, threatening voice, he orders all the children to sit calmly in their seats. There is a strange chill and cruelty in his eyes, the kind that makes it clear he's capable of going to any extreme. Frightened, every child obeys him and slowly settles back into their seats. One of the boys sitting in the bus suddenly remembers something. He had seen this man in the news. He was a serial killer, someone who had escaped from prison just a few days ago. And the most terrifying part, this man only killed teenagers. In other words, he was a psychopath. On his command, everyone throws their phones out of the bus windows. Meanwhile, the driver continues driving forward. As the bus moves along the road, the driver unknowingly passes another signboard. If someone had read that sign carefully at that moment, they might have realized the danger that was waiting ahead. The sign warned that they were entering a deserted military zone, an area where research had been conducted years ago, but where no human lives anymore. Soon, the bus approaches a tunnel and begins to pass through it. Inside the tunnel, the lights are still glowing, but as the bus moves deeper and deeper into that dark passage, the atmosphere slowly grows heavier, more mysterious, and far more terrifying. After moving a little further, the bus suddenly stops. That's when they realize the engine has broken down, but the psychopath immediately thinks the driver is trying to trick him. Without hesitation, he grabs one of the girls and holds her at gunpoint. On his face, the madness is clear. Fear and anger mixed together, pushing him to the edge of insanity. At that moment, he isn't ready to trust anyone. He orders the driver to step outside and fix the bus right in front of him. And if you try anything smart, I'll kill this child. Just then, the lights inside the tunnel suddenly go out. Darkness swallows everything, and panic spreads among them. In that pitch-black tunnel, they begin hearing strange, horrifying sounds echoing through the darkness. The killer gestures toward the driver. Go, check what that is. The driver picks up his flashlight and slowly walks forward. Step by step, he moves deeper into the darkness. Then suddenly, he sees a shadow. As he gets closer, the beam of the flashlight reveals something terrifying. It was a monster. Its eyes were glowing in the darkness, and the sight of its horrifying body made it look like the result of some twisted experiment. The driver screams in terror. In the next moment, the monster grabs him and kills him. Everyone inside the bus watches the entire scene unfold. The sight is so horrifying that for a few seconds, it feels like the breath of every child inside the bus simply stops. The killer quickly rushes back inside the bus, still holding the girl. The children begin screaming, but he immediately orders everyone to stay quiet so the monster won't see them and won't hear them. A heavy silence spreads through the bus. Every child is so terrified, they begin breathing as quietly as possible. The killer tries to start the bus again, but there's a problem. The key isn't there. It was in the driver's hand, and the monster has already killed him. So he sends one of the girls from the bus to retrieve the key. Slowly, trembling with fear, the girl walks toward the driver's body. But the moment she reaches him, she freezes. The driver is dead. For a second, she can't even believe it. Tears start rolling down her face, the shock too heavy to hold back. But this is not the time to cry. With shaking hands, she takes the key and returns to the bus. Her hands are still trembling, and it's clear on her face that she has just looked death straight in the eyes. When the other children ask about the driver, she silently shakes her head. He's gone. Hearing this, the entire bus falls into sadness and fear. Even then, the killer orders a boy named Reggie to start the bus, but the bus is broken. How could it possibly start? Now, every child trapped inside that bus understands something terrifying. The danger outside is deadly, but the fear inside the bus is just as powerful. The killer threatens them again. If you don't start the bus, I'll kill all of you. But this time, the boy doesn't back down. Instead of panicking, he starts arguing with the killer, and suddenly, another child from behind pushes the killer hard. The attack happens so quickly that for a moment, even the killer can't understand what just happened. happened. Reggie immediately grabs the gun from his hand and points it straight at him. But instead of panicking, the killer begins to laugh. "You can't kill me," he says. "Killing someone takes courage, and you don't have that." Before the boy can do anything, strange sounds suddenly echo from outside the bus. The noise distracts everyone for a moment, and in that split second, the killer snatches the gun back from them. Now the sounds from above the bus begin growing louder. The children freeze in fear. It feels as if something heavy, something dangerous, is slowly moving on top of the bus, waiting for the perfect moment. Furious, the killer steps outside the bus and shouts into the darkness, "Whoever you are, come out, face me!" But the moment he says that, his voice suddenly stops. A strange, horrifying smile spreads across his face, and in the very next second, something attacks him from the darkness. That hidden terror lurking in the shadows turns the entire atmosphere even more horrifying in a single instant. In the next moment, his head was torn clean off his body. The children inside the bus froze in shock. Panic rushed through them as they saw the creature standing there, holding the man's severed head in one hand. In that horrifying moment, the children realized something for the first time. The creature standing outside was nothing like a human. It was far more dangerous. Its arm was covered with long, writhing tentacles, some of them still buried deep inside the man's head. For a moment, none of them could even think. They had no idea what they were supposed to do. Finally, they decide the only chance of survival is to stay inside the bus. But then, strange sounds begin echoing from outside. With a violent crack, the bus door suddenly swings open. From above the seats, they see the creature's massive hands gripping the bus, and then the monster climbs inside. Terrified, the children rush toward the second door of the bus, trying to escape, but the door refuses to open. One of them is still holding a flashlight. By accident, the beam swings toward the creature, and that's when they notice something. The monster reacts to the light. It's afraid of it. For the first time, the children realize this terrifying creature might actually have a weakness. Taking advantage of that moment, they keep the beam of light pointed directly at the monster, forcing it to stay back. And just then, the other bus door finally opens. Now they have only one chance to escape the darkness and run for their lives. They rush out of the bus, keeping the light aimed toward the monster. The children run forward as fast as they can until they reach a bunker. Inside the bunker, there is a room with a large map displayed on the wall. After studying it carefully, they realize something shocking. This place is actually a military base. Slowly, it begins to make sense. This wasn't some ordinary area. It must have once been part of a dangerous experiment. And if this is really a military base, then there must be power somewhere. Maybe lights, maybe a control panel. So they come up with a plan. If they want to survive that monster, they need to turn the power back on across the base. Only then might they have a chance to escape. Using the map, they start forming a plan, trying to figure out where the control panel could be located. Nolan and a few others leave to search for the power source. Meanwhile, the three kids who stay behind try passing time in strange ways, mostly just to distract themselves from the fear creeping in around them. After a while, one of the girls tells the boys she needs to go to the bathroom, but she's too scared to go alone, so Reggie decides to go with her. As they walk, Reggie keeps teasing her, joking around. Maybe he's trying to lighten the fear in the air, giving everyone a moment to forget the danger surrounding them. The girl, annoyed, stops responding to him, but deep down, everyone can feel it. Behind the silence of this place, something dangerous is waiting. Some time passes. After a while, Reggie turns back to say something, but suddenly realizes something strange. Queenie isn't there. His heart skips a beat. Panic hits instantly. He starts shouting her name, running around the area, searching everywhere. His heart is pounding now, because deep down, he already knows something terrible may have happened. Soon, the others realize that Queenie is missing too. Together, they rush into another section of the base, desperately searching for her. Finally, they reach a place where they see her, but the sight freezes them in place. A monster is on top of Queenie, a horrifying creature just seconds away from devouring her. Queenie is completely frozen in terror. Reggie quickly raises a burning torch, waving the fire toward the monster to distract it. While the creature focuses on him, the other boy manages to pull Queenie away. They run. Both of them sprint away from the monster as fast as they can, without even checking if Reggie is behind them. But something goes wrong. The torch slips from Reggie's hand. It falls straight into the water below and instantly goes out. Now the monster turns toward him. Slowly, it begins moving closer. Strange, wet things start dropping from its mouth, splattering onto Reggie's face. Standing there in the darkness, the creature moves closer with every step, the danger growing heavier with each passing second. For the first time, Reggie truly feels it. He might not make it out of this horrifying place alive. And it was blood. When Queenie and her friend finally reach Reggie and see him, they freeze in shock. For a moment, they can't even move. And just before the monster is about to devour Reggie, suddenly, the lights turn on. The sudden burst of bright light tears through the terrifying darkness, and for a brief moment, the entire atmosphere changes. Startled by the light, the monster immediately releases Reggie and retreats into the shadows. That's when they realize something. Their friends must have found the powerhouse. Meanwhile, Nolan and the others, the ones who turned the lights on, had discovered a room nearby. Inside that room, there was a dead body. Scattered around it were dozens of photographs and handwritten notes. Almost every note was about the same creature. It looked like someone had spent years researching this monster, studying it carefully, trying to understand it. But judging by the condition of the room, it seemed that whoever had done the research had never managed to kill the creature. The pictures and notes on the walls made one thing painfully clear. This horrifying creature had already destroyed many lives before. But right now, that wasn't their focus. Their only goal was to escape this place as quickly as possible. As they moved deeper into the corridor, they suddenly notice a strange shadow in the distance. Both of them freeze instantly, even holding their breath, because that shadow could easily be the monster in the silent hallway. But then they realize it isn't a monster, it's their three friends. Relief floods over them, and they rush toward each other. For a brief moment, everyone feels happy, but that happiness doesn't last long, because someone notices something on Queenie's neck, a mark. The moment they see the wound, the color drains from everyone's face, because it doesn't look like any normal injury. The wound is deep, and blood is still slowly seeping out. Immediately, fear spreads among them. Some of them begin whispering that Queenie might already be infected by the monster. A few even suggest that maybe they shouldn't keep her with them anymore. But in the end, they refuse to abandon her. They decide to stay together. To understand what might happen to Queenie, they return to the same room where they had found all the research notes earlier. Among the piles of papers, one of them picks up a notebook and begins reading. They hope that somewhere inside those old notes, there might be a way to survive this terrifying creature. The notebook tells a story. It was written by a boy who loved exploring new places with his sister. Together, they would wander into unknown areas, always chasing curiosity and adventure. And one day, while exploring like that, they ended up at this very military base. They had no idea that their curiosity was leading them straight toward a horrifying tragedy. The boy who wrote the story had been studying the map carefully. He stayed behind while his sister kept walking ahead. Then suddenly, she stopped. Something inside the tunnel had caught her attention. For a moment, she just stood there, staring into the darkness, as if she had seen something strange. On her face, fear and confusion appeared at the same time, like she had just discovered something terribly dangerous. When her brother finally looked toward her, it was already too late. Screams and desperate cries began echoing from deep inside the tunnel. The sound terrified him, and instead of running to save his sister, he turned and ran toward the forest. He ran for his life, trying to escape. That was the same scene we saw at the very beginning of the movie. The boy managed to escape that day, but the incident never left his mind. Deep inside his heart, one thought kept burning. Because of his cowardice, his sister had died, and now he wanted revenge. Revenge against the thing that had taken her life. For years, that guilt burned inside him, slowly turning into a fire of vengeance. Even after all those years, he still couldn't forget it. So he began researching the monster, learning everything he possibly could about it, every detail, every weakness, until one day he finally created a plan to kill the creature. Now his entire life had only one purpose left: to destroy that terrifying monster once and for all. He had even built a machine designed specifically to kill the monster, but before he could ever use it, the creature somehow discovered he was there and it killed him. As they read through his notes, the group begins to understand something important. The man had spent his entire life studying this dangerous creature, trying to understand it, trying to destroy it. The notes reveal something even more terrifying. Anyone the monster attacks, anyone whose blood it tastes, never survives. And now Queenie is in terrible danger. So the group makes a decision. They will fight. The work that man started, they will finish it. They will complete the machine he built and use it to destroy the monster. For the first time, alongside the fear inside them, a new courage begins to rise. They know they must face this terrifying threat, but Queenie refuses. No one is going to risk their life because of me. Her friends shake their heads. No, we're all getting out of here alive. Believing that, they pull each other into a tight embrace and then begin working together on the plan. After some time, they finally manage to assemble the machine the man had designed, and now it's working. Seeing it power up gives them hope. For the first time, it feels like this machine might actually be able to destroy that terrifying creature. The group feels a surge of excitement, but their work isn't finished yet. They still have to lure the monster directly in front of the machine. To do that, they create a trap. They place Queenie's blood-soaked clothes in an empty area, hoping the creature will smell them and come there. It's an extremely risky plan. Even the smallest mistake could cost them their lives. A short distance away, Queenie herself stands ready so that when the monster arrives at the right spot, they can turn on the lights and activate the trap. Just as planned, the creature appears. It slowly approaches, sniffing the air. It even picks up Queenie's clothes, but something is wrong. Queenie isn't there. The monster realizes it. At that exact moment, Nolan is supposed to pull the trigger for the trap, but suddenly the trigger gets stuck and everything goes wrong. The monster begins searching for Queenie, moving straight toward her. Before it can attack, the machine finally activates. A burst of intense light floods the tunnel, pouring directly onto the monster. The moment that blinding light hits it, the creature recoils, as if it absolutely hates the brightness. Queenie and her friend immediately run, sprinting out of the tunnel. At the same time, one of the boys charges forward and stabs the monster in the stomach, but the attack barely affects it. Now they understand the terrifying truth. Defeating this creature won't be easy. At this point, they realize there's only one option left: run. Holding torches in their hands, they begin running toward the exit, but the monster is chasing them now. Every step feels heavy with fear, as if the creature could attack from behind at any second. The two girls manage to escape the tunnel first. As soon as they reach the outside, they feel a brief sense of relief. But when they turn back, their friends haven't come out yet, and right there, the monster is still standing inside the tunnel. Fear makes them tremble, but the creature doesn't step outside, because outside there is light. Just then, the three boys rush up behind the monster. They ignite the flames and throw fire toward it and sprint out of the tunnel themselves. The creature is suddenly surrounded by fire. Their plan finally works. Now, the terrifying monster is trapped inside the flames, and its strength slowly begins to fade. In the end, they manage to kill it. Their plan succeeds. They survive. Not only did they So friends, imagine this for a moment. What if you were on that bus? Darkness all around you, a terrifying monster standing right in front of you, and the only thing keeping you alive is your courage. Would you be able to fight until the very end? If you enjoy dangerous, mysterious, and mind-bending stories like this, then make sure to subscribe to RAFSAT Horde, because here, every story takes you into a new and terrifying world. And remember, in the next story, the decision between life and death might be yours to make.